Hello, guys, welcome to another episode of Author Interview with Anshuman. And today we have a doctor with us who has written a brilliant book called Reinvent Yourself. And this book it was a bestseller and it helps you deal with the cardiac disease and all. So, hi Rima, thank you for joining this show.
Hi, Anshuman. Firstly, thank you for giving this platform to, write a book, create an awareness, and calling me here on Women's Day.
The pleasure is all mine. And since it's the Women's Week and you are a woman who has got more power, who can inspire a lot of women. And so I'm privileged that you are here and you are talking to the audience, talking to me. So I hope this interview, this conversation will inspire a lot of women, not only women, a lot of people. Because there are two things I can say. One, the thing that you address in your book, yoga and cardiac disease and everything. Second, the women empowerment, like when people see
Correct.
women like you, they can obviously learn from you and they can get inspired. So that's what the goal is, right? So thank you. So Rima, before we start,
Yeah.
I have already given them the clue that you're a doctor, but why don't you introduce yourself, like who you
Okay.
are,
Yeah.
who Rima
So,
is.
yeah. So, I am Dr. Rima Das. I have completed my BMS. I'm a bachelor in Ayurvedic medicine and surgery. And after that, I have done my fellowship in preventive cardiology and cardiac rehab. That's where this books come from. Now you can understand. So, to talk about the book or the journey for the book, as a doctor, we learn to treat patients, to heal people. But in the process of this, I just realized that better than healing, it's the prevention. Why don't prevent the diseases before it occurs? So, treating is good, we can heal people, but somewhere at the line, people go through many stress, many agony, or having a disease, maybe so small it is, even a cold and cough, it can make us uneasy for at least a day or two. So better to avoid things, and especially cardiac diseases. Yes, prevention is always better than cure when it comes to any cardiac illnesses.
Yeah, and there's also a saying called "stitch on time saves nine." So if you can
Correct.
act
Absolutely.
right time, you can save a lot of money, save a lot of trouble, save a lot of tension. You said something about cardiac rehab. What is all about? I'm just
Okay.
curious.
Yes. So when you talk about preventive cardiology, it's all about preventing the heart diseases even before it occurs. But what if it have occurred? People have those who have already undergone a bypass surgery or have already undergone angioplasty. So if you see the records, people undergo the surgeries and they just start with the medications and go back home. They never change their lifestyle or the habits that have landed them there. So what happens is 5 years or sometimes 10 years down the line, they again land up in the same situation. I have patients who have underwent 3 angioplasties because they have never changed their lifestyle. They have never changed the factors that caused them that blockages. When you see in US healthcare, after every cardiac surgery, it's a mandate that a person goes to a cardiac rehab where they undergo a complete lifestyle analysis. They get their diet chart fixed or some of the dietary modifications, some of the lifestyle modifications. What are the exercise guidelines for them? So, cardiac rehab is basically for people who already have underwent a surgery and they don't want to land up there again, or for people who have detected with blockages but they are really less, like 10%, 20%. We don't operate people with a 10 or 20% blockage, but given the current situation, what is happening is we just left leave those people till the time they'll end up in a 50-60% and then go ahead with surgery. So this also, cardiac rehab works on elongation of the process of that time. Like if a person is going to land up in a 70-80% in the next 6 months, maybe with lifestyle modification we can either reverse it, or in some cases can really prolong it to as long as 10 to 15 years for a people to go to that thing. Because having a cardiac surgery at age of 30 and having it as at the age of 60 do make difference. The quality of life get hampered when a person gets operated at the age of 30. So that's the entire concept of cardiac rehab, either to, stop the process of a people who have already underwent a surgery, or the people who have already detected with a cardiac disease, but it's in a very initial stage, maybe 10 or 20%, to help them elongate, elongate the process of getting reaching to that 70 to 80% to 10 to 15 years.
Hmm. And you worked in such rehabs?
Sorry.
You worked in such rehabs?
Yes, I have worked in such rehabs, but sadly, when you see in India, there are very less, we can count on our fingers that kind of only facilities are available as compared to when you see in US. So many corporate hospitals, very big hospitals, only provide cardiac rehabilitation, but for people who undergo surgeries in maybe some small setups, so there are independent rehab centers are very less when you see in India. So I think that's the next step that people, that's the need of the hour. There should be more cardiac rehabs and stuff which can help people to give a quality of life to them.
Right. And what exactly they do over there? They do yoga, they keep a check on the diet.
They give you an entire lifestyle. When you once you stay there, they give you an entire lifestyle how to live. They teach you yoga, they teach you about diet. They just don't give you a diet chart. They will help you understand how this diet process works, the same way I said about calories and stuff. So they give you knowledge, they impart knowledge to you about those. They give you a goal, so this is how your day should be planned, what you should do, the do's and don'ts after a cardiac surgery. You have to do this, you don't have to do this, how much exercise can you do. So basically it's teaching the way of living to people.
Hmm. Uh, are you, by any chance, are you aware of Vipassana?
Yes, I know.
So, is it something like that?
It is something like that, but it's when I'm talking about cardiac rehab, it's totally focused on the cardiac elements. When you talk about vipassana, it has a holistic approach over overall health, considering maybe it's for the general well-being. Now, when I'm talking about cardiac rehab, it's specifically addressed to cardiac patients. Even they do a psychological counseling for people. Sometimes people get recover from a bypass surgery, but they are not that confident enough to get back to work, to resume work. They are very afraid to do it. So even the psychological counseling part is also handled there.
So yes, I completely agree. But since you're talking about cardiac disease, it's like people who are 60 plus, or what's the age group you're targeting?
Okay. So initially, if I see in starting 1970, 1980, it was considered that cardiac diseases are very common after the age of 50. But seeing the recent data, they are really shocking. There are cardiac diseases happening at the age of 22, 23, even 25. People getting heart attacks at the age of 27, undergoing maybe bypass surgeries or angioplasties in their early 20s or late 20s. So, to start with, I should say you should start taking care of your heart at early 20s itself.
Yeah, maybe. So recently, I don't know whether you saw the news or not. It was recent news, I think, in Feb only, Feb,
Hmm.
January, Feb. There was a cricketer, it from
Correct.
you know the story, right?
Yeah, I know the story. And that was an eye opener for many of them.
Yeah, it was scary actually. And then I
Yeah,
saw a lot of video on YouTube where young people, young as in 20s or something,
correct.
some of them collapse in gym during workout, some of them, in office. It's just scary. So why do you think why does this thing happen? Because they're fit, they're sports person, they're into fitness training, all right? Why this happens?
So to answer this question, one of the major thing is people don't underwent their regular checkups. The thing that happens is just because you're able to do your daily activities doesn't mean that you're really fit. When you stretch apart from that, like if you are walking or you're healthy enough to do an exercise for maybe half an hour or 1 hour, The day you stretch a little bit, maybe that could be in the possibility of frequency, or else in the possibility of maybe the rigorous workout they do. So there's something called as the heart supply. Heart is the organ that supplies blood to all over the body, but the heart should also get adequate supplies. So the reason which can come that the heart don't get adequate supplies, there could be two things. First, that the the blood vessels in the heart, sometimes it gets blocked due to cholesterol. Now everyone is aware of cholesterols. The lifestyle that we lead, the food that we eat is creating a layer of cholesterols for which the blood is constrained, or else some certain habits like smoking, and people who are living sedentary lifestyles. Now given the corona and the lockdown situations, all are just sitting at home in front of PCs and doing their work. So what happens is the blood vessels loses their elasticity. So when you stretch yourself, the heart require more amount of blood to supply to the whole body, but now the blood vessels are not able to stretch, which was the general work that the blood vessel should have done. So it just don't stretch, so there is less amount of oxygen supplying, and that's the reason the person collapse or can can lead to a condition where you need to be hospitalized. So the main thing, one thing that I can say, even if you're healthy, see, going to a doctor shouldn't be such a condition that even when you're not well, you should go to the doctor. You should go for a general checkups as well, just to see if everything is fine.
Yeah, right. And we Indians, especially, we are going to doctor because of the fear that अभी जाएंगे तो कुछ तो आ जाएगा.
Exactly. I have heard
आ
this
जाएगा.
too many times.
Yeah, even I was a culprit of that. Maybe I hate doctors. मतलब it's a मतलब I think that.
No one love doctors. No one is like willingly going to a doctor. नहीं मुझे डॉक्टर के पास जाना है. But they should understand that your health is a priority. It's not that if you don't go, there's nothing in your body. Something is building up, right? It's just that you're not aware of it until and unless it reaches to some certain extent, which is very painful, and you have to go through multiple surgeries, or you have to go through multiple medications and a long term treatment, which could have been resolved in maybe couple of months if it was detected early.
Right, right. Time पे diagnosis हो जाता है. बहुत.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, disclaimer: when I said I hate doctors, it's not like I hate doctors. I have some.
I hate going to doctors. Like that's a common thing in India. I know.
So, as human being, I love them. Doctor, I respect. I hate going to doctors. Basically, just correcting myself.
No one loves going to doctors. That's the thing. But when you see, I'm very closely related to a US healthcare as well as Indian healthcare. So the major difference that I see when you compare US healthcare with Indian healthcare, in US healthcare you have annual visits for even every specialty,
Yeah,
like for cardiology, for even skin disorders and stuff. People visit annually just to check if everything is fine. Yeah, forget about the specialty annual checkups. We don't even go to a doctor. Even for the first instance, we'll self treat it. Our first doctor is the pharmacy person. This is happening. What can I do? And even without history taking, we'll take the medications. And then, if it doesn't cure or some side effect comes, that's the only time we go to doctor.
right, right. In fact, let me ask you this thing. Do
Yeah,
you think OTCs,
over the counter drugs. Yeah.
yeah, should be banned or I mean, like अभी हेडेक होता है तो मैं जाता हूँ
Hmm.
टाइडन लेके आके खा लेता हूँ.
Hmm.
एक में नहीं हुआ, तीन चार खा लेता हूँ. Just giving example. नहीं खाता मैं.
Correct. Correct.
There are people who do that.
Right.
So,
So to answer this question, like as I said, in when you compare to US healthcare, there are very few medications which are allowed as over-the-counter medication, which are, I won't say not harmful. Taking anything in excess is harmful, but they has less side effect, and you can't get them in bulk. If you go to a pharmacy, you will get at least one or two, not more than that. Whereas in India, I think even there are laws that you can't give things in bulk, or you can't give some medications in without a prescription. But That's not that strict, I would say. So many of the medications are freely available. I have patients saying that, I took this medication. Who told you to take the medication? Because 5 years back I had the same symptoms and I took this medication, I was cured, so this time also they went ahead to take that medication. So I think the laws are there, but it should be strict. There should be penalties to the pharmacy people also, because it's them who are giving, right? That's the reason it's readily available.
Right. Cool. So again, coming back to the previous question, like these sports person or the fitness people who are in the fitness industry, when so there are two things which I can.
Yeah.
I have read. That's why I'm asking. I'm not a
Right.
expert in this field. Two things that I come up with is one, anabolic steroids. The second
Right.
is pushing the limit to an extent where the body doesn't support.
Hmm.
Right. So, what's your take on it? Like, are they really culprit or they are something else and they are just making it up?
No, they are the real culprits. Steroid, I would always say people to avoid. They give you quick results, but the harmful effects of steroids are really can be disastrous to it. So steroids, in some conditions, for medical conditions, steroid is also prescribed to, but in limited quantities, in calculated dosages. But the steroids that are available in gyms to make their bodies, or for other things, those are not in calculated dosage, and rather no one is taking keeping a check on it, that how much a person is taking. Maybe even someone is advised to take one spoon or one tablet or something like that, but people nowadays people need, overnight effect. So they are like, if I want to take one tablet for 3 months, why don't I take two tablets for 1.5 months and I would get the results? That's not how medicine works. You can't make it work like that. And talking about the second thing, stretching beyond limit. So when you talk about cardiac, there is something called as targeted heart rate, which is calculated depending upon your age. So it's advised that whenever you're exercising, you should stretch yourself only till your targeted heart rate, because only till that heart rate your heart can support your body, supplying the blood that the body needs. But I think the when the cardios are done in gyms, even there is no calculation of targeted heart rates. Okay, there are few gyms which do their checkups of their clients, or they have doctors inside to manage such conditions or to train them accordingly. But when I also know about few gyms that are there which don't follow the guidelines, and then they stretch to an extent. It's the mistake of both. I mean, it's sometimes even the people who are asked to do a cardio for 15 minutes, they will extend it to half an hour or 1 hour. Or sometimes they even think, yesterday I was not able to do the exercise, so let me do the yesterday's exercise as well as today's exercise together.
So it's like
That's
कल मेरा फास्टिंग है तो आज चलो 2 दिन का खा लेता हूँ फिर जो होगा देखा
exactly.
जाएगा. But see, Rima, I understand. Like there are gyms, premium gyms, where they have doctors, they have professional, certified coaches. But not everyone can afford such premium gyms, right? So, what's
Correct.
be your suggestion to people uh, who can afford such kind of gyms, who can just go to any other gym, the gym next door, right?
So I would suggest that even if people who can't afford such gyms, who are wanted to do a gym, just the next door, but at least go to your, you know, general physician, the physician that you go, and get yourself tested, which should always be done on a yearly basis. Get the first cardio session or the first thing which you do, there is something called as stress test, in which the same condition is done. The patient is made to walk on a treadmill, and the heart rate, the blood pressure, as well as an ECG is taken. And with those readings and those findings, a doctor can surely suggest that this is your limit. You shouldn't do it beyond this limit. And then you can continue with the same in your maybe local gyms. You can get that report to the gym person, and you should do it maybe on a not even in a yearly, but at least once in 2 years. That should be done, and even before you start it, because what happens is people feel I'm very healthy because I can do my daily activities very well, going to the office, coming back from office, going for a brisk walk. But when it goes to cardio, there is some inclinations, there are speeds, and then people just mess up with those two combinations and land up into something.
Yeah, right. So, you mean to say there is not a standard numbers for, like you said, there's a heart rate group for age group something.
Correct, correct.
So those numbers are not standard. So for every person that varies. For example, my limit is, let's say for example, x beats per minute. You can be x plus y plus x minus y. It can be the same. It shouldn't be. I mean, might be it's not the same.
Yes, yes. So this don't work as that one size fits for all. It can't be generalized to saying, all people can exercise for 15 minutes with the same rigorous exercising, and the same duration or the same frequency works for all. It depends on your age, it depends on your lifestyle. Like, if it's a sports person, this person may have a limit extended because he is into rigorous practice, as compared to someone who has a very sedentary desk job sitting on a PC. The work, the daily work routine is not that strenuous, so for them the limit would start something from less. And it's not that once your limit is decided it will be the same for your entire lifetime. Even that varies. With exercise, your endurance improves, your heart tone, in muscle tone of the heart increases, your capacity to exercise increases. So that's the reason when someone starts exercising, we would suggest, start maybe with 5 minutes, then extend it to 10, 15, 20, half an hour, 1 hour. So anything that you start should start from very gradually. You can't start like running a marathon.
Yeah,
You have to start practicing very early and then reach to that level.
right. And again, in other words, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So yeah, you have to have patience.
Correct.
So you have to run slowly, and the aim is to reach there in, let's say for example, a couple of years, not in a couple of days.
Correct. So people, as I said, nowadays need fast results for everything.
Yeah.
So sometimes they don't even follow the instructions. They do their mathematical calculations. It is possible in 30 days for this, so I'll do it in 15 days by doing giving extra. So something will affect. You will, in the long run, you will make yourself suffer. Some things need time. Like, you can't have a baby in 2 months. It is a 9 months process. The
Right.
same thing, you can't get six packs over 15 days or 30 days. It
Right.
has to be a gradual process.
Right. And I can say these ads, and especially the so-called fitness gurus that we see on YouTube, not all of them, but some of them, even they are
Yeah,
the people, they are promoting the wrong thing. So,
correct.
for example, Tiger Shroff, for example, if
Hmm.
you're telling people that this a natural body without any anabolics, and you
Hmm.
even you can get this kind of result in 6 months, that is false, right? So
Yeah, so whenever someone come across these things, I think before you pursue it, you contact someone, like maybe a family physician, someone who has a knowledge of it and understand. Ask them, what are you exactly going to do to achieve this in 6 months? Whatever it is, you just can't blindly believe. You have to question. This generation is a generation who has so much knowledge, so much power, given the internet or the
so much
exposure to
information, I would
knowledge.
say. So much information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So much information, I would say. Not so much knowledge, but so much information.
So much information, right? So they could use it, in a good way or in a bad way.
Right.
So the decision lies on them, that you have to take a logical call. You have to talk to person who can actually relate. Go to a doctor, ask them, is it possible? This is what are the things that I'm going to follow. Is it right for my body?
Right. And since hear this thing a lot of time, like people say, don't use treadmill, better you go out on a jog. What do you think? I mean, it makes sense or is the same thing?
I think if you're not doing it under guidance, under proper guidance, or you're getting yourself having a stress test. And no, when it comes to treadmill, as I said, you need to evaluate yourself on a stress test with your heart rate, with your blood pressure, with your ECG, because sometimes a normal ECG is fine. Like when you, me, we are sitting, maybe our ECGs are normal. But when you start exercising, when the capacity of the heart is extending, so is your heart that healthy enough to provide or sustain in that level of exercise? So you need to evaluate that, and only then you can go for treadmill exercises. Treadmill exercises without guidance could be harmful. So better you go for a walk if you're not willing, or you don't have a complete health checkup.
Okay, and there is what? So previously it was akhadas.
Hmm.
नहीं होते थे पहले अखाड़े होते थे
Hmm.
देसी अखाड़ा then gym came up then now they have this CrossFit thing then
Hmm.
Zumba thing. And the origin was it's all started from as my knowledge goes it all started from yoga from the
Correct.
beginning right but now this is old school people think it's old school and like they get attracted to shiny objects like high-tech gyms,
Right.
you work out, CrossFit, right? So, what do you think? Since your book is in yoga, what do you think? How yoga is yoga powerful than these things, or what's your take on it?
So actually, that's a very funny thing that I always say. People, we Indians are really funny. And the yoga is the origin of everything. Yet we didn't accept it unless the West accepted it. The West were the first people to accept it. We have people from US abroad coming to India to learn yoga, but we took time to acknowledge yoga till the time they come back as aerobics, or they came as a culture of gyms and all those stuff. So, as you correctly said, it all originated from yoga, and the others are the versions of it. So, no matter what you do, I mean, yoga is something that can not only give you physical strength or physically help you, but it also help you. When you read about yoga, I have included it in my book, the origin of yoga, what yoga actually means. It's not the only the asanas that we do. It has a complete sense of physical well-being, emotional well-being, mental well-being, everything. Because when you see the definition of health, it's not only a fit body, it's a sound and happy mind. You should be it also includes stress management, everything, because you have to be happy from within. Just a well six packs body, but you're stressed, you're depressed, that doesn't mean you're healthy.
Right. So, and these are the fancy object, the shiny object that they call it the shiny object syndrome. So people are attracted to these things. Like अगर किसी का 8 pack है, 6 pack है, तो wow, he's very fit. If someone is chubby or someone is slim, in a skinnier side, they think they are not fit, they are not healthy, which is not
The
right.
definition of health, I think people should really evaluate the definition of health and then accordingly has to work on it.
Right. Because I remember when I used to learn martial arts, my
Mhm.
instructor, he has a very big belly,
Hmm.
but he was very fit. The
Correct.
kind of so yeah. The point is, external appearance से इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता अगर अंदर से क्या हो that matters.
Yeah, even for people, okay, when weight, like obesity, is one of the risk factors for heart diseases, but we can't. It's not like every person who is a bit chubby or things will land up in heart diseases. There are multiple examples of people who are well, in the BMI, they are in the normal range, and yet they land up into heart diseases. So it's a very misconception saying that, when if you have a very good body, if you have a well maintained body, six packs, four packs, so you're fit. I mean, you are free from diseases, you don't have any cardiac issues. It's not like that. It depends on, not only depends on your physical health, but it's your stress plays a major role. Like blood pressure, one of the major causative factor for blood pressure is stress.
Right. Right. And meditation is the cure. I believe so. Right.
Yeah. So when you see yoga, it's a group of everything. It's the asanas, it's the pranayam, it's the meditation. It has it looks yoga has a holistic view look at a person to make the person healthy. So
Right.
when someone's really go through the yoga in deep, like how yoga originated, what are the different limbs of yoga, what are the different parts of yoga, you can find that it looks even at the part of mental, physical, emotional, everything.
Yeah. So I know it because I am from a school where so there's this saying by Sri Aurobindo Ghosh. If I were of him, and, I mean, he was a yogi, he was a freedom fighter,
Correct.
right? There is a quote from him which I use a lot of time. You have seen, heard me saying this thing again and again. It was like all life is education, all life is yoga, right? And being from that school, I know how important it is. When we in school, we used to do yoga every day,
Right.
right? And it helped. It helped us. बोलता संयम बनाए रखना खुद पे
Right. Right.
helps. And what I know about yoga is it heals you internally.
Right. I
When you
agree. Absolutely. So when you say about yoga, what yoga, if you ask different people what yoga is to them, everyone will have their own definition. So, for someone, yoga makes them feel relaxed. For someone, yoga makes them feel energetic. For someone, yoga must be, a way of life. They feel something is missing if they are missing their morning yoga or whatever time they do. At least they should do it a lot. I mean, people come up saying, we don't have time. We have a gym membership, but still we don't have time. See, we have time for everything. We have a time to go and watch a 3 hours movie, but we don't have time for ourselves for 15 minutes just because we have not landed up into some complications. We just wait. There
can
are also people saying, yeah, I'll start doing yoga at the age of 50 because 50 is the risk factors, right? So it's not like that. When you're getting heart diseases at the age of 20, so start taking care of your heart from the age of 20 itself.
right, I can't agree more. And that's the biggest excuse I have ever heard. I don't have time to do something. Come on. Yeah. So don't lie to yourself. I tell them the same thing. भाई खुद से झूठ मत बोलो. Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah, and it's for your own benefit, it's for your own health. It's not like that if you're doing your yoga, someone else will become healthy. It's you, right?
Right. So people who will read this book, who have read this book, what are they going to get? I mean, what are the outcome they can expect by this book, from this book?
Yeah. So to say to this, of course, yoga, what yoga is, how, what are the different asanas, those informations are readily available. I mean, anyone can say those are very readily available. So why to read this book? So I'll give you two main
I'll
reasons.
answer that thing. I'll answer that thing if you don't mind. So everything is there on YouTube. Okay,
Correct.
you can go and watch anything.
Yes.
Two things. One, is it authentic? Is it genuine? Second, आप तो मूवी भी देखते हो एंड इफ यू वाचिंग यूट्यूब लाइक दैट वोंट हेल्प यू हैव टू टेक एक्शन सो
Right.
so there are two things I would say. Now yeah, you can share your views.
So there are two things. First, I have explained that why and where yoga originated, what is the history behind it as well, because I think this generation is a generation where people want to know reasons for everything. You can't just say them, you do this. They want to know why. So it really answers to the why, that where this yoga came from. They should know that, yoga is the origin of all this. And you should be proud as Indians that yoga originated in India. And this is something which the entire world is following now. And this COVID situation has even made it more, uh, you know, they have showed the entire world that the building of immunity is so important. People look towards Ayurveda for that fact, that how to prevent things, how to prevent this scenario, how to increase your immunity. So yoga helps in that as well. And, and the second reason is, along with the step by step approach that how to perform this yoga, it also gives you the benefits that you will get by doing this yoga, as well as the contraindications to them. Now, yoga is good, it's really good, but still people should know there are some contraindications to certain asanas. Like, for example, if someone is having a chronic back conditions, So there are few yogas which are contraindicated for them. If they do those things, that can land up into aggravating their pain. So before you start anything, I think people should know what to do and what not to do, and what should you do to get the exact benefits. You want the benefit, you want your, you want to work on your belly, and you're doing exercises or yoga that will strengthen your thighs or something like that, so you won't get the required benefits. So as I always keep saying, if you want to go to Delhi, you will have to take the flight for Delhi. You can't take a flight for Bangalore and then expect to reach Delhi on time. So it's
Right.
just like that.
Yeah, and people do that thing. And yes, thanks for coming with this point. Like, I know someone who had a massive injury in her spine
Hmm.
because of yoga. When she was just watching YouTube and doing it
Correct.
without any precaution, without any coach, and she ended up in the hospital. So yes,
Exactly. So
yeah,
everything, when you start at very first, I think it should be under guidance. It's not that the lifetime you will need that guidance, but at least for the initial few days or few months, a month or 2 months, I mean, it depends. Someone who can grasp very easily, 1 month is enough, at least to know what to do, what not to do. Like, now yoga is done in a stepwise manner. You have to follow those manners. You have to do the first step, only then you can do the second step. You can't directly go to the second step, you will land up with something.
exactly. And do you have a disclaimer like, okay, people can read your book, but they should consult a trainer, a coach, or a medical professional before actually practicing those things.
So I would say this book is like a beginner's guide, someone who is still confused whether I should or whether I should not start it. And they want a clarity, does this really help? That's the question that people have. So if you want to understand about yoga, want to know few of the yogas, so you can go through this book. In my book, I have bifurcated things like this you can perform. For this, you require a guidance. So before you perform this, you should know whether you're physically fit to do it. So consult your doctor or consult some certified yoga personal, and then start doing the exercises.
Right. And guys, if you're watching this video, please make sure don't follow anything which is yogasana, or any gym workout or physical training blindly. If somebody is saying that you should do it, please consult an expert in that field, take his or her opinion, and then do it under supervision. If there is a disclaimer that okay, you should go to take guidance, take guidance,
Yeah,
don't do it yourself. Otherwise, you might end up in the hospital. So be careful, please. Right?
right.
Yeah. So this is one thing, yoga. Okay, can I ask a silly question, a funny question?
Please.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, I have thanks to this lockdown, I have put on 10 kilos in 1 year. Okay, I was 65 now 75,
Okay.
and I really want to get rid of this extra fat.
Hmm.
The one thing that comes to first thing that comes to my mind is obviously cardio.
Hmm.
Cardio or high intensity workouts, which will help me build muscles and burn the fat. Okay.
Hmm.
Apart from, I mean, I'm not a diet person. I love eating everything. So yes, workout is the only thing that can come to my mind. But when you talk about yoga and you are linking cardiovascular disease with it, right? So can this because obesity is rightly said, obesity is one of the reasons why people face this kind of issues, right? So can yoga really help me to get rid of this extra fat?
Yes, yoga can help you to get rid of the extra fats. So there are yogas which are specifically, you know, to burn fats at different parts of the body. So a specified yoga can really help you. But before I proceed to it, I just want a myth buster for you. As you said, you're not a diet person. I think for most of the people, the reason of diet, the concept of diet is you should avoid things. अगर डाइट करना है तो ये नहीं खाना है, वो नहीं खाना है, अरे सब तो मना कर देते हैं when it comes to diet. So diet doesn't work like that. What diet is, it's the calories that you take. So let me explain you in a very simple way. For example, you had a diet which had maybe 2000 calories, for example, and you're working, as you said, in lockdown we are not working that much, we are sitting at one place, and only your 1200 calories is burned. So what happens to the rest of the 800 calories is the body keeps it as a fixed deposit, maybe to utilize it later. The body always thinks, what if I don't get food the next time, what will I do? So I'll utilize this. But given the lockdown situation, we are home, there's no scenario that we are not getting food, because we have already loaded our house with foods that agar kal ko wapas lockdown ho gaya to khana kam nahi padna chahiye. So we all again we eat after a certain time, again there's this continuous filling and a less usage of the calories, and the calories that are not utilized get stored by the body so that the body can utilize it later, but the body never gets a chance to utilize it later. And this fats that goes on piling up in the body as fixed deposits looks that creates that belly fat, maybe the thighs or something like that. And eventually, when actually the body don't have space to store these fats, it goes to the blood vessels, leading to blockages. So the concept of diet is not to avoid certain things, don't eat it, don't eat that. It's just that to maintain that calorie balance. In case you had something you know very heavy meal, try eating some light meal in the later part of the day, or maybe exercise a bit longer. Not Don't increase the intensity of exercise, but yes, you exercise daily for 15 minutes, you can increase it to maybe start with 20, 25, and 30, and try burning those calories. Once your body has a deficit of calories, the body is functioned in such a way that the body will start utilizing the fat that were stored as fixed deposits. So that's how you lose weight. So the concept of diet is not to avoid eating something, but to maintain the calorie deficit. We all know, right? When we eat more, there's a function, we go out to a restaurant, or we just are sitting and landed up watching a movie, we sometimes eat more कि movie देखते देखते ज़्यादा खा लिया. So we always have that feeling, कि we have ample amount of food. So just try avoiding or having a light diet in the later part of the day. The body will utilize the fat which was stored. That is the concept of diet. Basically, it's not saying don't eat this, don't eat that. And when it comes to fried food, which is usually said, basically it has more calories. It has, and that thing don't give you fullness in the stomach. Even if you have something fried, so that will give you just calories. But after a while, you will feel hungry,
Yeah, yeah,
and then you will keep eating. That's the only reason the fried and things are avoided. Instead, when you're having fruits, the fruits give you less calories, but gives you the satiety, that a fullness in the stomach. You don't feel hungry for at least the next 2 hours.
right, right.
So when you say you're not a diet person, you can try both. You can do yoga as well as diet. You can do it.
Yoga really helps in burning fat, burn calories. Yeah,
So as I said,
not as much as a cardio or high intensity workout can do, but yes, I think.
yes. So as I said, it maybe a high intensity cardio or something can burn a fat in 2 days. Yoga will take 3 or 4 days, but yes, it will. Because when you do yoga, you will see it's not that you're sweating very heavily and then there is too much of calorie burning, but it gives you that relaxation and smoothing feeling. You don't feel tired after doing an yoga.
Yeah, yeah. And since I talked about diet, now these days we have lot. ना बहुत सारे सुनने को मिलता है. I don't remember exactly all of them. Like keto is one thing, and
Yes.
बहुत सारे अभी lately सुनने को मिल रहा है मुझे. ये diet, वो
Right.
diet. What's your take? Like, are they useful or just a marketing gimmick? They're just fooling people.
See, diet do play a very major role when I say about any prevention of cardiovascular diseases or few of the risk factors for heart diseases, like when it comes to diabetes or when it comes to overweight. Most of the things, there are two things that works. That one is diet and the second is exercise. So both goes hand in hand. It can't be like I just keep eating and then I just keep exercising, or I don't exercise and I don't eat as well. People are doing fasting. I mean, the intermittent fasting goes long and long. People are almost becoming malnourished not eating, but still they will go on. So both goes hand in hand. So there are various diets, as you said, keto diet, some Mediterranean diet, dash diet, some are concepts from the West. So diets do play a role, but for diet also, it's not the same shoe that fits all. I mean, everyone running behind intermittent fasting or everyone running behind Mediterranean diet doesn't work. You have to analyze your calorie intake, your lifestyle, and accordingly you have to work. Few people who do strengthenous activities do require more amount of carbohydrates. Few people who have a sedentary lifestyle, they don't require the carbohydrates much. Maybe they will require the protein or the fats. So depending upon your lifestyle, depending upon what your daily activities are, your diet should be planned. The calories should be calculated and accordingly it should be planned. So any diet you talk about, it's all always the calories that needs to be calculated. I am also coming up with the second version of the healthy living, which will totally include about diet. What kind of diet, how much calories does it have, what kind of diet will give you fullness in the stomach without causing you for calories. So the first part, the reason I have not covered everything in one book is when a person sees a book more than 200, 300 pages, we just sometimes buy the book and don't read it. It is just lying on our table or on our bookshelf. So the reason I did it was the first part was totally about yoga, about exercises, about burning calories, and the second, which I'll still working, will be on diet, the intake, how much intake should it be, how many time a person should eat in a day, like your breakfast, then something between the breakfast and lunch, what kind of things you should take, maybe some quick recipes which can help you, some smoothie recipes, some salad recipes which people can have like a quick thing after a workout, or things which can give you enough energy for the next 3 to 4 hours but not causing you much of the calories that can put on weight. So I think it will be out soon and everyone can get the book, understand about diet and what to follow, what not to follow.
Wow, awesome. And when can I expect this book? Because first book you taught yoga, second book taking care of my kitchen. So when can I
Yeah.
expect it?
So you can expect this book at the end of March or at the very beginning of April.
Awesome. I'll wait.
It will be out. Yeah.
Definitely waiting for it. And that's
Yes.
so. First you written on yoga. Now you're writing on diet. What's next? What's your future plan?
Okay. So when you talk about the future plans, I would say that this all are for the general people. Everyone can follow this. Now, given this COVID situation, doctors have worked so non-stop 24 hours shift. So I was planning to do something for the doctors, for not only for the doctors but for the medical fraternity, like the nurses or any other medical assistants that they help. So what I'm planning is to come up with a course or something that can help them get their dream job, to help them understand what their passion is, where their passion lies, which specialty they want to go, what are the different courses available for them. So something on those lines. It's still a work in progress. You'll
Wow,
surely come to know.
wow, wow, wow. That's awesome. So you're doing a lot of great things. Now this is what I call a superwoman. I really call you a superwoman because, see, I see a lot of women still struggling to find out what they need to do, what they want to do, and you're doing a lot of things. Salute to you. Hats off. So,
Thank you.
any message for such women like who are struggling to find a purpose in life, or maybe they have the purpose in life, but they're not sure whether to take action because it's all about action, taking action, right? So, you have any message for them? This is the Women's Week. Let's talk about that also.
Yes, to all the women, I would say that, you know, you should follow your passion, you should follow your dream. And sometimes it's not very clear how to start, but people know what they want to achieve. So start taking some few baby steps towards your goals. Start with something really small, something that makes you happy, and then make it big. If there's time constraint you're talking about, it's the same, what I told about exercising. You have time, you just want to find a time for yourself. From the 24 hours, you can at least get 1 hour for yourself and start doing things that you love. I mean, it could be someone likes painting. They used to paint and then now they are short of time because of the family they have to take care or the responsibilities that they have. But if that really makes you happy, take out that time to do things that makes you happy. If it's writing, of course, I would suggest people to join this 5-day author challenge, and they can see their long dream of becoming an author coming true. So whatever it is, they need to start.
Thank you, Rima. And see, अभी मुझे एक चीज़ याद आया. In the last match, there is a woman called Priyanka Gupta, and she
Yeah.
has two. You met her yesterday, right? So
Yes, I met her.
she has a 2 months old kid, and पूरा
Correct.
पांचों दिन this kid was in her lap while she was writing. She was working on her book, and on day 4 she published. So
Correct.
people जब वो बोलते हैं ना कि टाइम नहीं मेरे पास, भाई खुद से झूठ बोलना बंद करो प्लीज. बाकियों को बाद में झूठ बोलना, पहले खुद को झूठ बोलना बंद करो. मैं हाथ जोड़
And
के प्रार्थना करता हूँ, खुद से झूठ बोलना
yes,
बंद करो. Stop.
and there's one thing I would say. People think that they have a family to take care. Everyone's happiness is in their hand, but you first need to be happy yourself. वो
True.
होता है ना, दिया तभी दे सकता है सबको उजाला जब उसके खुद के पास हो. The person who is happy can give happiness to others. If the person is not happy herself, then she can't keep everyone happy.
So true. And this is something all the successful women I have spoken to, meet just Sarita Chauhan, meet you or anyone, they say the same thing in their own version. Like, भाई पहले खुद कुछ करो, then only you can make others happy. First, you have to be happy.
And when we talk about that respect, we talk about the equality, the respect that every woman should get. I think yes, it's their right that every woman should get that respect, every woman should get that equality. But I think rather than begging for it, earn it and achieve it. Show, trust yourself, and then only the society will trust you.
Right? I mean, see, women are so powerful. You don't need to beg for anything. You deserve it. Go grab it. Right? You don't need to
Correct.
beg. स्पेशली हिंदुओं में हम बोलते हैं, मतलब औरतों को माँ का देवी का सम्मान देता है.
Correct.
सो वाई बेकिंग, आई मीन, वो समझ में नहीं.
Yeah. I am not aware of this concept, why people do it. Every woman around me, I tell them the same thing. You are more powerful. You don't need a certification from someone else saying that you can do it or you have that inside you. Every woman has it. You just have to believe in it and start doing, achieve something. There will be failures. It won't that the first time you try, you will achieve what you want, but learn from your failures. I think failures are beautiful. They give you too much of learning. I mean, success jitna nahi sikhata, failure usse zyada sikhata hai. And use it to get what you want in your life.
ऑब्वियसली इवन आई से द सेम थिंग. अगर एक चीज़ है जो आई वुड लाइक टू डू अगेन एंड अगेन, दैट इज आई वुड लाइक टू फेल. Because when I fail, that means I'm doing something new. I'm trying
Correct.
something new. Unless until I fail, I won't learn. And
Correct.
I will learn, I won't grow. That's pretty simple.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And in
I
fact, I was talking to someone else just before this meeting, this interview, and that person was like, "I'm afraid if I fail, I mean, why are you afraid? It's good to fail." And you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
so, हाँ, आज जब बच्चे होते हैं ना हम लोग, so हमें डर नहीं लगता
Correct.
failure का. So the intention is to achieve things. We are not afraid of failing, right? But as in
And
we grow.
and there's nothing, you shouldn't be ashamed that you failed. I mean, I think people are very ashamed. They try to hide things, something they tried and they failed in it. And when you try hiding things, that keeps on, the thing you want to hide or the things you're running from always comes behind you. embrace it, embrace the learning that you got from the failure, and your failure will never look like a failure, not
Right.
only to you but also to others.
Because behind every failure there is some learning. Yes,
Correct.
I strongly
Exactly.
believe that. Yes, so it's good to fail. Okay, cool. So you are going to help medical fatigue to
Correct.
achieve their career goals, right?
Yes, that's my next aim, and that's my dream to do something for the medical fraternity, to help them get their dream jobs, to help them identify what they really want to do in life, to give them a purpose. I mean, they already have a purpose to, serve people, but to just like a cherry in the top. That's it.
Yeah, I can understand. I belong from a family where I have, I won't say a lot of doctor, but yes, some good amount of doctor in my family also. So I know the where the struggle and all, right? So obviously,
Yeah.
if you can really come up with something like this, it can definitely help them. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to it also.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, since we're talking about the book and everything, what would be, and it's your first book that you published in
Correct.
November, I think November, December,
December.
right? So,
Yeah.
what's gonna be your message for people who are trying to write the book or who are thinking of writing the book?
I would say stop thinking and start working towards it. I mean, I never believed, honestly, I can write a book in 5 days with, I mean, I was busy. Even I tell people, but yeah, even somewhere down the line, even I thought I don't have time. How can I write it? Writing a book will be so tedious. I tried writing a book before and but never published it. This is the first book that I've published. And when I came across this 5 day challenge, I thought, let's give it a try. I was not sure whether I can, but let's give it a try. I've tried many things. I've invested so much of time, so much of hours of things. Let me see how this works. And when I joined, yeah, I wouldn't say it's very easy, but great things are never easy. So there were hours. I remember I published my book at maybe 4:30 in the morning. But the moment I published, I was like, oh no, I really did it. And it was not even day fifth, it was, I think, fourth day that I published my
Yeah.
book. And I was like, finally, I did it. And I was glad that I took up this challenge. And I think I'm really good with challenges. When someone challenges me something, I do complete it. And that's the human nature. So people who are thinking to write a book, stop thinking and really enroll and just start, challenge yourself in this.
Yeah. So well said. So okay, if you don't want to join the challenge, even I'm fine with that. Okay, but if you are thinking of writing a book, please start writing. Start working
Exactly.
towards it. If you are unable to finish your book, then obviously you can join me, and I can definitely help you. I can make sure you get published on time. But at least try doing it. And if you're not sure whether you
Exactly.
should write a book or not, then I can give you 10 reasons why you should write a book, right?
Correct.
So, Abhi,
I remember I had one or two reasons, and you give me the rest of the 10 added to the list.
right? So you have a lot of reasons to write a book. I can prepare a different video for that. एक घंटे का वीडियो बना सकता हूँ कि आपको बुक क्यों लिखना चाहिए. But yeah, you should write a book. And if you're thinking of it, very good. You're on the right track. Congratulations. Don't think. Start taking action. Start writing a book. If you're facing any difficulty, you can join me, and I'll definitely help you, finish your book. As Rima said, it's not gonna be easy. अगर आसानी से होता तो हर
Correct.
बंदा बन जाता, right? It's not gonna be easy, but it's not something that you cannot do,
And it will be worth it. I mean, the struggle will be worth it. That I could say.
right? So, thank you, Rima. And so, before we wind up, do you have any message for your viewers?
Before I wind up, as a doctor and as an author, the reason I wrote this book, I just want to end it up with one single sentence saying prevention is always better than cure. And please remember this in your daily life, and try taking care, not try, just take care of your cardiac health. your mental health, and be happy, be healthy.
Thank you. Thank you, Rima. So, guys, the link to this book is in the description. You can go click the link and buy the book. And it's worth reading. It's worth reading. I've read it and it's super. It's very easy to understand. It's not like a very high fun to language. So, you can read it in one go. And after you read it, start applying those things in your life. And that's the only way this book can help you. If you are thinking of not using this thing in your life, better you don't read it,
Correct.
right?
I agree.
The reason in this workshop why we publish books, because not just to sell a book or earn money, it's about adding value to people's life, and that's the reason of this mission, this workshop, right? So if you are sure that you are not going to take any action, please don't read this book. Okay, do us a favor and don't read this book. But yeah, if you read this book and take action, obviously you can feel a change in your life. So that's that's something I would like to request you. And yes, if you are trying to write a book, you are struggling to write a book, or if you want to write a book, you can join my challenge. I'm also providing the link below. So that's it for today. See you in the next episode. Thank you.